conscious that you were documenting history?
Well, I have a lot of stories and little tidbits of information that if I don't get them out there, they die with me.
Welcome to the first 50 gigs, Guns N' Roses, and the making of Appetite for Destruction. A first-hand account of the origin story of Guns N' Roses, their rise on the Sunset Strip, and the making of Appetite for Destruction. I'm Jason Porath, I'm your host. I'm also the co-author of Reckless Road, and I've been working with Marc Canter to help bring his archive to life for fans around the world. As many of you know, Marc Canter was Slash's best friend and was known as the sixth member of the band during the early days. He was there, and he witnessed it all. And he documented the entire thing, starting with Slash's garage bands in 1981, and eventually following the original Appetite lineup from 1985 to 1987, photographing and recording every single gig GNR played as they dominated the Sunset Strip, wrote Appetite for Destruction, and became the most successful rock band of the late 1980s.
And I want to thank everybody for coming down.
So let's get to it. Season 1 will trace the individual threads that led to the first Troubadour show of the Appetite lineup. This includes Slash's garage bands, Titus Sloan and Road Crew, as well as Hollywood Rose, LA Guns, and the original Guns N' Roses. So it's going to be a packed season, and because we've chosen this video podcast format, we're going to have the time to explore every aspect of this story and not leave any stones unturned. All right, so Marc, we're going to start at the beginning here. People know that you supported the band. You know, you've done enough interviews, and of course, we published Reckless Road, so they know who you are. You know, we have this opportunity on this podcast to go a little deeper, and let's talk a little bit about you and your family background and what Canter's is to Los Angeles as, you know, one of the icons and also a place that is, you know, critical to the music scene in Los Angeles, especially during that time.
So, yes, I'm Marc Canter. I'm third generation of the Canter family. It's been around since really 1924 in Jersey City, New Jersey. There were 2 locations there. My grandfather moved to Los Angeles with a couple of his brothers and started Canter Brothers in Boyle Heights. In the mid-'60s, it really became like a countercultural place for the hippies. And to make a long story short, everybody from A to Z was there hanging out, eating, you know, mamas and papas and, you know, Bob Dylan and basically, you know, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, The Doors, you know, especially like after they'd play a gig on the Sunset Strip.
I'm going to assume that at that time, that area was already a place where the arts was happening in Los Angeles. So it wasn't necessarily a big leap that a lot of musicians would start frequenting the deli. You know, Slash mentioned that he played many late nights at Canter's in the Kibitz Room. So can you tell us what the Kibitz Room is?
Well, the Kibitz Room was actually a candy store that was part of the building that we bought in 1959. It was adjacent to the restaurant. And in the late 80s, we started up music again in the Kibitz Room. It had that living room atmosphere of just a fun party. You had everybody, you know, Anthony Kiedis from the Chili Peppers, and, you know, Jackson Browne came and once played with Melissa Etheridge. You know, the Spin Doctors had some time there, but Elliot Easton from the Cars. I'm going to go name people forever, but Fiona Apple, they just keep popping in my head. But what happened was Slash, this was, I believe, in 1992. It was right around the time of the MTV Music Awards. And, you know, Slash walks in and picks up this green Strat that's like $200 Strat that one of the musicians was playing, plugged into a cheap, crappy amp. And they played a couple covers, and you know, he had fun, and he was really happy. He said he needed that because at that time they only played, you know, stadiums, and it was like a good reality check, brought him back to earth. So he played there another time, I don't know, a couple months later he came back and did it again. So I believe there's only really 2 times he played there.
Right, but Canter's was still central to the GNR origin story. So you fed them, you gave them jobs, They met each other there. There's a great story of how a few of them met there. So I think Canter's seems to be this place that they always return to during that time. You're listening to the first 50 gigs. In this 2007 interview for Reckless Road, Slash talks about his history with Marc.
Duff came out from Seattle and answered an ad I had in the paper, and again, it's in relationship to Marc. I met Duff here at Canter's, and Stephen and I, that was our first meeting, was here at Canter's.
How did you go from being Slash's friend, who you recognized that he had talent that was unusual talent, and you wanted to document that, to the sixth member, or the honorary sixth member of the band?
I met Slash during the 5th grade, and we became friends pretty quickly. And I just noticed a lot of special things about him in his artwork. Later on in his bicycle motocross racing, he was already playing guitar, and we were both into the same bands. And I just instinctively knew that he was going to be good on that guitar. And he had a little Sun amp, and he was playing a BC Rich Mockingbird. And right away I noticed that he had a controlled feedback and a thick sound, and you got chills down your spine when he would improvise a solo or play blues and just go at it. So I kind of sort of made it my goal to document what he was doing and make sure he got to the next level. And that's pretty much what you're going to find where we're talking about now, how it all came together.
Well, Marc Canter and I have known each other since the 5th grade, 3rd Street Elementary School. How we got to be friends back then, I can't really remember. There's no particular... I tried to steal his mini bike. Okay. I guess I tried to steal his mini bike. Any other things that you want to throw in? That's not going to work.
Go.
Okay. We did 5th grade, 6th grade, then 7th grade, and junior high school, and all that stuff. And we're just really good friends, throughout, all the way up until now. But back then, it was definitely a lot of hanging out and going to school, ditching a lot of school. We always had a camera around. So now it all makes sense.
To watch the entire episode and access the full series, bonus episodes, and image galleries from Marc's extensive archive, join our growing community on Patreon and subscribe. If you've enjoyed this preview, then like our video, comment below, and subscribe for more.